On the 12th of June, it will be the anniversary of Anne Frank's birthday. Anne Frank was born on the 12th of June 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany, to Otto and Edith Frank. During her preschool years, Anne lived in an apartment on the outskirts of Frankfurt. When the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Otto Frank took his family to the safety of Amsterdam. Here Otto was able to use his business connections to make a new life for the Frank family. However, the Germans occupied the Netherlands in May 1940. Anne had to transfer from a public school to a school for Jewish children. During early 1942, Anne and her family went into hiding. Anne had been given a diary for her 13th birthday in which she recorded her experiences, but also her hopes and fears. They hid in an annex belonging to Otto Frank's food products business and were joined by many of their friends. Prior to going into hiding, Werner Goldschmidt, a lodger, a relative of TV and film star Matt Lucas, had stayed with the family. He features in Anne's diary. Anne wrote faithfully in her diary of her day-to-day life. Her family were constantly worried about being captured. Her last diary entry was made on the 1st of August 1944. The Gestapo arrested the Frank family and their friends 3 days later, after the family were betrayed by Dutch collaborators. First, the family was sent to a transit camp called Westerbork. Then they were sent to Auschwitz on the 3rd of September 1944. A month later, Anne and Margot were sent to Bergen-Belsen, where they perished of typhoid, and their mother Edith died in January of 1945, not long before the evacuation of the camp. Otto Frank was the only member of the family to survive the Holocaust. When the family were captured, a friend of the family had found Anne's diary. Having transcribed pages from his daughter's diary for family in Switzerland after the war, Frank was encouraged to publish it. The Diary of Anne Frank has now been published in more than 70 languages, with the first version called The Secret Annex, a title Anne had devised herself. Dear Kitty, to whom Anne addressed most of her entries, was her imaginary friend. Anne's diary is important because it is a first-hand account of one of history's worst acts of inhumanity, and because the Holocaust was a crime, a genocide. Humanity must learn from it and must never forget.
Created using Powtoon.